Hey everyone, my name's Chris Meixel, and I am the next generation pastor here at Impact. And we are 5 days into our Holy Week Devotional series, and it leads us to the Last Supper. Now, the Last Supper can be found in all four of the Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Matthew, Mark, and Luke tell the story of Jesus' last meal with the disciples, the meal that we remember with communion. We find this in Matthew chapter 26, starting in verse 26. While they were eating, Jesus took bread and gave thanks and broke it, and gave it to the disciples, saying, "Take and eat, this is my body." Then he took the cup, gave thanks, and offered it to them, saying, "Drink from it, all of you. This is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. I tell you, I will not drink of this fruit of the vine from now on until that day when I drink it anew with you in my Father's kingdom." So when we talk about the Last Supper, we usually think of this story. We usually think of the story of communion. But I love reading it out of the book of John, because John tells stories of the Last Supper that's different than you find in any of the other Gospels. It tells an awesome story before this last meal of communion and stories afterwards. But I want to focus in on the beginning part, a story before the meal that's found in John chapter 13, starting in verse 2. And it says, the evening meal was being served, and the devil had already prompted Judas Iscariot, son of Simon, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew the Father had put all things under his power, and they had come from God, and it was returning to God. So he got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that was wrapped around him. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus replied, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." "No," said Peter, "you will never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no part with me." Then Lord, Simon Peter replied, "Not just my feet, but my hands and my head as well." Jesus answered, "A person who has had a bath needs only to wash his feet. His whole body is clean. And you are clean, though not every one of you." So I love this passage because Jesus does something that no other king ever would have to do. When Jesus washed his disciples' feet, he reminds us that he is no ordinary king. He teaches us that a true leader never puts himself over the people that they lead. He also teaches us that washing feet is an incredible way to show our love for people. Because let's be honest, feet are gross. They're kind of disgusting, right? And so the fact that Jesus was willing to bend down and wash his disciples' feet, that would have been terrible looking in that time, because all they did was walk everywhere in sandals. And so these feet were gross and they were disgusting. But as a king, he still chose the posture of serving. He still thought in that moment the best way he could show his love to his disciples were to wash his feet, was to love on them, to care for them. And so my question is, whose feet do we need to wash? As we're getting so close to Easter, we're getting so close to his death and his resurrection, who do we need to serve? And it may not be actually washing someone's feet, but who do we need to show Jesus' love to? Who around us, who are we in community with? Who are we in contact with that we could serve, that we could go that extra mile to show them, hey, I know I've told you I love you. I know I probably care about you, but this is a great way that I can show you that I love you. This is a way that I could show you that I care. Jesus laid that great example for us by washing his disciples' feet. And so I challenge us this Easter season to do the same thing, to go and serve someone above and beyond what we could have ever imagined. So let me pray a blessing over you. I pray a blessing over you that you will see this power that serving can have. That we can take another example from Jesus of what it means to get down low and serve people in ways that we wouldn't have to do it, but we do it because we love them. We do it because we care. And we do it because that's what Jesus would have done. He gives us this example, there is nothing beneath him. And so I pray that we will have that exact same attitude, that there is nothing too good for us to do when it comes to loving someone else. And so we want to invite you to our Easter weekend. tonight starts Journey of the Cross. Tonight at 5 o'clock from 5 to 6:30, and then tomorrow from 12 to 1:30, and then in the evening from 6 to 8, you can come be part of our Journey of the Cross experience. And then please come back at Easter Sunday, at any one of our services, 8, 9:30, or 11. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you check back tomorrow.